Hello, future people! Welcome to Getting Tabled. I'm Jason the Bruce, and today we're going to have a look at the rulebook for Moonstone. So, for those of you who are not aware, Moonstone is the secret game. If you didn't know about that, then you should probably be watching the video over here first. If you are aware of that, then hey, this is Moonstone. I am filming this literally after I've opened the box, and despite the corner of my eye getting a glimpse of the inside of this, I'm deliberately opening this first to get a reaction of someone who hasn't looked at the book yet. Just because, look, if I want to look at the book, I want to look at it properly. I want to give you the impression of someone that hasn't seen it and doesn't already have an opinion on it. So that's what I'm going to be trying to do. Let's get down and have a look. Alright, so first things first, it is some pretty gorgeous artwork. Now, this here is very clearly supposed to be one of the Moonstones. It's kind of growing up out of the ground. That's very clearly supposed to be one of them as well. This big mysterious artifact that kind of controls the currency in the world. I kind of like this, just creeping up through the vines. It's quite nice. And I've given my book its first crease. Okay. First things first, a look at some of the models. These are not just the models from the starter set. These are some extra ones as well. And then straight into what feels like should belong in a nursery rhyme. Just artwork-wise, that's kind of the feel that it has, which you would expect because it's. I mean, they're not nursery rhymes, but it's not high fantasy. It's whimsical fantasy. It's one of the things I said that I liked about this when I was talking about it in the actual news, was that whimsical fantasy is just not something that people do a lot. It's always high fantasy, and that's kind of gotten a little dull. Nice looking world map. I mean, obviously I don't know any of these places. I did see Forsaken Forest in the Kickstarter. That was one of the terrain sets that you could get. That's the only thing that I really recognise. And this, I think, is where the fairies live. I think. I could be wrong. Or maybe they come from the Twilight Glades. Timeline. I suspect that the first part of this is all going to be very much lore, which is important. I'm not going to be going through this. Oh, and okay, so we are not very many pages in, and we're into the game rules. Into more of the models, which is nice. What you need to play, so 2 to 4 players, 3 by 3 foot board, somewhere between 3 and 6 Moonstone miniatures for each player, and you need their accompanying character cards. You need a tape measure or a precision measuring instrument. You need a 21 card arcane deck and an 18 card melee deck. You need that for the game, not for each player. So that is something that is different from Malifaux, where everybody has their own fate deck. This is one deck between everybody. You need some energy tokens, and you need some 4-sided dice. And regular dice for every player. Which, from memory, is only to decide who goes first. From memory. You get your usual layout of how the cards are read. How to set up a board. Interesting, you don't seem to need a lot of terrain. Okay, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Choosing your troop. Grow your moonstones. So the idea of this is that you get 7 4-sided dice, shake them up, and then just release them on the board. And wherever they land and stay is where they've grown. I wouldn't literally do that, obviously, because I'll go off the table. So far, this is looking very nice. It's all very easy to read. I mean, it does have fancy looking text for the headings, but the actual text itself is very easy to read. You obviously wouldn't want all of it to be like this, because it'd be difficult for some people to read it. Talking about the different types of terrain. I'm just skimming through this. This is not a full review, obviously. Some lore for a character. How the melee deck works. If people are interested in a full-blown review, once I've been through everything and actually had a chance to play, I am more than willing to do that. I just don't feel that that's something that you do with a rulebook the first time you look at it. And that's something that I've kind of learnt over time, as I've done a few of these story scenarios. And this is pretty much the bread and butter of this game, is all designed around the story itself. Which is not to say that it couldn't be competitive. It's just that's not the sort of thing that the game is aiming for. There's literally a two-headed giant format. That is kind of funny. Tournaments, very nice. And here we go. We're into the actual characters themselves. The artwork on these are just phenomenal. I really love the artwork. So here's some of my characters. Tito, the Fencer, Freya, Wasp. My Wasp is definitely going to be having very brightly coloured armour. Butterfingers, Silvertongue. So these are not specifically for my guys. Now we're into the gnomes. I quite like Young Jack. Young Jack seems like a fun character. I love how grumpy Morris is. Morris just looks awesome. Morris is probably the one character where I kind of look and go, oh, I kind of want the gnomes now, if that makes sense. He's just that character. How can you not love Baron Von Fancy Hat? I mean, just look at him. There's literally a quack. I kind of like that. So it looks like I have some characters that are not in the book. That's fine, because I know that their rules are in the boxes. Or at least they're supposed to be. Very nice. Look, as far as first impressions is concerned, it's definitely a very nice looking box. If you was to pull this off the shelf, you get some really nice looking artwork and a taste of what the minis look like on the back. It is a really nice start. Not super thick that it would be intimidating, but thick enough that you know that there's some depth in there. As far as first impressions is concerned, I really am liking what I'm seeing. It's impossible to say yet how much depth there is. From the research that I've done in watching other people's videos and reading other people's blogs, it really seems like there's a lot of depth here. But I will have to make my own determination of that at a later stage. As I said, if you are someone that would like to see me do a review on this, then let me know. Once I've opened everything and then had a chance to have a game, keeping in mind that that won't be this week, it'll be some stage in the near future, then I'd be more than happy to do that. And I'll just give you my impressions and how I feel it goes. Thank you very much for checking out this video. If you're enjoying the content of this channel, please like and subscribe. If you're in a position to do so, please check out patreon.com/gettingtabled. You receive early access to at least 80% of all videos that we put out, and you get access to the video edition of all of our podcasts the day that they're uploaded. If you'd like to check us out on social media, facebook.com/gettingtabled is the most active. We also have a Discord server. You can email our team at gettingtabled@gmail.com. If you're on either Twitter or Instagram, you can find us at gettingtabled. And until next time, play more.